We're all laughing already over here.
Welcome to another episode of Walk-Ins Welcome, where we humorously help you triple your revenue through digital marketing services to help you get more patients, repeat visits, better care, and scale. Michael, what's up?
Nick can't compose himself right now.
Not today.
So just as a little context why we're laughing, without calling all names out here, but we're working on basically a series of videos outside this podcast to help drive opportunities to teach you guys some stuff. You'll be seeing, if you follow our YouTube, you'll start seeing more videos pop up. But anyway, there was one of our team members doing video, and the first 11 minutes are outtakes, essentially.
I mean, it's an 11-minute prep talk to himself.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, because and we love him, but it took him at least 11 minutes to get through a sentence.
The opening.
Yeah, the opening. And but it's just funny because he's like, "You got this." We think it's funny because we understand.
Yeah,
like
I was gonna. You bring that up. We do understand. Literally yesterday, I'm cutting a video on how to set up your Google Ads from scratch.
Yeah.
Okay, just for urgent care specifically, how to set up an urgent care Google Ads account from scratch. And I started at 11 in the morning.
Oh yeah,
right.
And then you were,
and then now I left for a meeting. I went to lunch, and then we had a meeting, and then I was back for the rest of the afternoon. And then at 4:45, I don't know if you noticed this, I came out of the recording studio.
Yeah, you're like, I'm gone.
And I was dejected. I was sad. I was upset with myself. It was one of those things, because let me tell you, cutting video is not easy. And we don't pretend that it is.
No, it's not simple. I mean, you do have to get over yourself a little bit, right? Like, allow mistakes to happen and just keep moving. I think that's probably
how we started this episode, laughing. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Let's just keep rolling because it's still content at the end of the day.
Right.
But no, we were just having a good gut laugh at that point. But anyway, this episode, so we are second week of August, essentially, while we're recording this, and that means school has started back. I know today in particular, like, your kids started back, first day of school pictures and all the fun stuff.
Yeah. Facebook was flooded with back to school pictures.
When I opened up my Facebook today, it was like every single person I knew that had kids that were over 5, first day of school, first day of school, first day of school, first day of school. So school is back, and we're thankful for that, because typically, well, one, if you have kids, like, you have some time back, which is great. But then for us as a company, summer's fun and dandy, and we had a good time, but we're ready to get back to business.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, so we recognize that summers are slower. From our standpoint, things seem to slow down, which isn't all bad, not going to lie. But also just communication with clients and back and forth. Everything just kind of moves at molasses pace because half of our clients are on vacation, or something's come up and they just can't focus on the business. And I'm sure urgent cares, you're saying, thank goodness, I need that patient count number to go back up.
Absolutely.
Because we recognize a lot of you urgent cares had to reduce hours for summer, reduce staff.
Hey, not our urgent cares.
No, that's true.
Sorry, shameless plug.
Yeah, we actually had met with one of our startup urgent cares this week, and this was really nice. He gave us a spreadsheet of his weekly patient counts. And it's really fun to watch a graph just go up like a mountain. And he's only been with us 5 months,
something like that.
Yeah, not terribly long.
We're looking forward to getting him on the podcast.
Yeah, we'll bring him on for sure. But it's cool to see that progression that he's had, and he's already on track. The goal is to get into a certain number by the end of the year, and if you meet, and his goal is around 25, 30 patients a day by the end of the year, and it will only be like a 7 or 8 month old company by that point, which is, to me, is a really cool thing. I don't know about you guys, but having a business reaching 50 to 75% capacity within your first year is amazing to me.
We'll have Matt capacity in year 2.
Yeah, exactly. And that's usually how it goes.
That's also, by the way, that sounds like an arrogant statement. It's because he's doing good work.
Yeah, I mean,
it helps that he does really good.
It helps that all of his reviews are 5 stars. People really like him. He hired a good staff. Our team got to meet his team yesterday, which was cool because we never got to meet any of his hires before. So he was introducing. I mean, it was just fun. That's just something we love and love to hear about. But going all back to that, so I know we're all happy summer's over. I kind of wish the temperature would go with it. It's still smoking hot outside. 96 today here in Birmingham is miserable. But now we're entering school. So the reason why I want to bring this episode up is because if we're going to school time, your marketing needs to change. whatever you were doing the past 2 to 3 months needs to adjust. We've already made this, like our urgent cares, we know how it goes now. So like we've already have campaigns ready for school related items, and COVID has come back hard and fast. We've seen the past 2 to 3 weeks, COVID numbers should start spiking on our ads. Like
That's right.
If you
COVID testing, right?
yeah, COVID testing. So for the urgent cares that are listening that run their own ads or have a company, are you running your COVID ads? Because they're back, and they are back, and they're making they're making urgent cares a lot of money right now because they're bringing a lot of patients into the door at the moment. So.
Yeah, the unfortunate side of the urgent care space is you're typically there for a negative reason. Somebody doesn't feel good, right?
Yeah.
The good news of that is like you really get to be a hero here and help them feel better.
Yep.
But let's talk about this. Content calendar is a huge thing. We know our content calendar. I'm hoping that you know your content calendar as well. And we are in back to school season. We're going to be going to back to school. From there, we're going to be going to seasons. You have Halloween, you have or harvest, if you will, however you want to say that, your harvest season. You then go straight into Thanksgiving. From there, lots of family around Thanksgiving. You need to be running ads around, hey, did you just have a family gathering? And then going into the Christmas and then going into the winter months. Now, let me back all the way back out to that.
And then, of course, football.
Yeah, football season, football parties.
Yeah.
People are gathering.
Yeah.
And where people gathering, COVID completely set aside, where people gather, kids in school that haven't been around each other, right?
Hundreds.
Where they gather, they spread germs. Where germs are spread, people get sick. And this is where you, as an urgent care, shine.
Yeah.
And you need to let them know. Promise you your competitors are.
I mean, I'll be honest. If you're an urgent care right now that has a mobile unit, this is when you start talking to schools, say, can I park my unit nearby? You know, stuff like that. Because the reality of it is you now have thousands of people congregating together. And like you said, germs just spread. Numbers will go up. So, I mean, not only from the marketing side, you got to make adjustments to reflect that, but then your staffing's got to be take note of because you don't want to be swamped. And then you're kind of catching back up because at the end of the day, we know if people are waiting in an urgent care for like an hour or two, they may not come back. Like, it's too long for them. They have a bad taste in their mouth because at the end of the day, in urgent care, while it's supposed to be for urgent needs, it also represents urgent speed of care. So I think you guys just that reminder. If you're still thinking things are just as they always are, nope, you got 2 weeks left. Like here, our second week of August. By the end of August, your numbers will start to climb, and we know it.
Right, absolutely. So, what are you doing right now to make sure that you're getting back into the community after vacations, after you've adjusted your summer hours back to normal hours? What are you doing to get back into the community? Do you have flyers going into these students' backpacks saying that you're available, right? So those boots on the ground marketing efforts, are you getting in front of the school systems? Are you getting into the daycares? You know, I know your child does Mother's Day out.
Yep, does MDO.
So, you know, these churches that do Mother's Day outs, are you getting into those places?
Honestly, and as like a secret slide in, if these places offer career days where you can go in and just say, well, this is like to be a doctor or a nurse or whatever. Different ways to kind of get your name out there a little bit. Of course, if you ever go on site anywhere, make sure you have something you give away that has your name on it. It's been branded of some sort.
Let me tell you something. For the first time ever, we are taking our child, our youngest child, to school instead of putting him on the bus.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is weird. So everybody's getting their time back. I'm not.
Are you taking him?
Yeah, for now. It's
At
just,
what time do you have to leave?
I left this morning at 6:50 a.m. to get there just because I didn't know, and I left at the right time.
Oh, that's annoying.
Well, I'd rather sit in the parking lot for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
than
sit in a big line.
Than sit in a line for 30. Right. So I would rather do that. That doesn't bother me.
And you get time with them.
What? Yeah, exactly. And I got to hear all about Pokemon.
There's an episode of this.
There's something. Actually, yeah. There is. So I was staring. We had the pass. You have to put this thing up in your window, right?
Yeah.
Well, on the front of that is his number. Guess what was on the back?
Was it an ad?
It was an ad for Callahan Eye Center. A medical ad.
Oh.
That I have to stare at.
That's so good.
Every single day.
For the next 9 months.
And I've only seen it once. And I just told you the name of the company.
Yeah.
I've only seen it once, and I have to look at this every single day.
And that's and Callahan Eye is a local company.
It's UAB.
That's right.
Yeah. So
that's really because okay. So just some context here. So we're out of Birmingham. UAB is University of Alabama at Birmingham. it's the hospital system here. They are the largest employer of the state. They are the largest hospital system in the state. They are Trauma One, ER. Like, they are the epitome of hospitals in terms of Southeast. Like, they're it. But Callahan Eye is
Dr. Callahan, right?
Yeah, it's the break off of their eye department.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's so funny because that's a big school year system you're part of.
I'm just saying,
That's slick.
shout out to Callahan, but why is that not an American Family Care, or why is that not a Southern Immediate Care, or you name it, right? Like, why is that not?
Yeah.
What a perfect.
I wonder who pitched.
Place.
I wonder if Callahan pitched it to the school system or the school system pitched it to Callahan.
I don't know, man, but
That's pretty slick.
It's perfect. It's perfect. Like, the marketing it really is just perfect's the best way I can say it. It's mostly moms taking them.
Yeah.
Mostly moms make the decision on doctor's appointments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you're in front of that mom 5 days a week
And-
for a one-time investment.
And they're not peeling that sticker off for 9 months.
Well, it's not a sticker, it's a hang tag.
Oh, hang tag. Okay.
Right? But
Which
it's
that-
a nice one.
Now I'm wondering. Now, obviously, you're the elementary. Is it elementary? Or middle?
His is elementary. Yeah.
You're at elementary. I wonder if the high schoolers who are 16-year-olds that drive have their own hang tag, and I wonder if it's branded to somebody else.
You tell me,
Now I'm
man.
curious. I kind of want to ask somebody. I don't
Yeah,
know.
the local vape shop.
Do a vape show.
That's right. So, do not do that. Yeah, I'm just,
Or
I'm
maybe
kidding.
it's a future college. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, seriously.
Like Auburn or Alabama.
Well, I mean, I want to sponsor the senior hang tags,
Yeah.
or I want to sponsor the junior one. You know what I mean?
That's so fascinating. Now I'm trying to think.
We love marketing.
Yeah.
I know you only hear digital from us, but we love marketing. And when it gets clever, I geek out about it.
That's pretty. I'm trying to think through. What else do we get as parents from the school system?
Okay, so I'll
That's not the coupon book.
I wish this was happening. Like, I dropped him off this morning, and I'm glad to have the reference for the hang tag.
Yeah.
But like tomorrow, I'll have a different reference of when I open that notebook and all the advertisements that'll be in that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, but it's funny because you expect advertisements from, like, to me, when I think school advertisements, I think yearbook.
Right.
I think football program, and then
And all the see-through advertisements hanging on the fence.
yes, and then the fundraising.
Right.
Like that's what I think of. I don't really think beyond that, but that's so fascinating because I know, like, in the football world, like, PT covers the football field all day long. Like, we have
Absolutely.
the official because they just stick a PT person on the field,
That's
and
right.
it's all branded and looks good.
Yeah, it's very smart.
Yeah, it's super smart. That's I don't know. It makes me want to wonder what else we can do.
Well, I remember thinking when I was looking at that, I was like, I'm going to have to look at that every day. and
Is there a call to action or is it just a logo?
oh, it's Callahan with a phone number. Like, that's it. I'll show it to you. But
They missed a QR code opportunity.
they could have done a QR code. Yeah, that's what you want to do. Drive down the road with a QR code. But they'll be
But they're
parked
sitting in
they'll
the
be sitting in a line.
in a
at some
line.
point,
Click.
right?
Yep.
You are right. That would have been beautiful for a QR code. Schedule your appointment now, exclusive to.
Here's 10% off for all
Pelham
Pelhams.
That's
Yeah.
right. Anyway, all of this tangent just to say, yes, you need to get your digital right. You need to be found on Google. You need to be running Google ads. I would even argue Facebook ads that are targeted for this back to school season. But I'm also, I want to challenge you and encourage you to get creative in some of your marketing. We had a great opportunity to interview somebody on this podcast from, I believe, American Family Care that owned several franchises.
Yeah,
She
it
the
was like
marketing
a
director.
combined franchise area.
And at that time we had her on, her boots on the ground was she was sponsoring the field days,
with the water bottles.
the water bottles and all that kind of stuff, right? So I love grassroots marketing, and I think that should be a critical component of any like functioning urgent care.
Well, because so a couple of things, like you had mentioned at the beginning, like the season's coming up. So there's going to be a fall fest coming. Your school system has a fall fest, or your church has a trunk or treat or whatever. Super duper easy way to sponsor some stuff. Like,
oh, there's going to be so many parades around Christmas.
yeah. And
I want a Nick the Marketer parade. I know y'all may not know Nick the Marketer. That's our parent company,
Yeah.
but it serves local businesses. Like, I would love to have that in the Pelham parade. We're in Pelham. We serve Pelham. Like,
we now have 2 marchers on our team,
come on,
right?
that's right.
But so
Which will be in the parade.
yeah, exactly. So, but now thinking about at my church, we do a pretty big trunk or treat. You've been to it.
Yes, and it's fantastic.
It's massive. But one of the things you probably remember is the sponsored IC. Was it IC truck? Yeah, IC truck that company had just hung a banner on. I forget the name of the company. It's because one of the employees' wives works there.
Right.
But anyway,
They were giving out the ice cream, right?
it was ice cream or ices. I can't remember.
I missed the icy truck, but I remember the ice cream.
Yeah. So either way, the company paid for the truck to show up, and then over the truck's logo, they hung their logo, and it's like brought to you by whatever.
Right.
And it's just a simple advertising. Like that truck may have cost them $800 or $1,000.
Worth it to get in front of the people that they were targeting.
Yeah, because at a trunk or treat, it's all moms and dads and their children, and it's a whole bunch of hands and candy, so they're going to be sick in 3 days. Like, that's the mindset. Not in that scenario, but like for your urgent cares or anybody that's doing medical, like that's the idea. Go to these fall fests, look for ways to pop up a tent or give away things, anything like that, just to make it different. So you have that, you have trunk or treats, you have really, like you said, parades, and then the actual games themselves. Is there anything else that tends to stick out? I guess Christmas stuff, different type of Christmas stuff that can be given out. And I don't know if this is possible or not, but just maybe sponsoring some type of school lunches or something along those lines. I don't know what that looks like, but just
Well, at our school we have dads with donuts and moms and muffins or whatever it's called. I don't know, but
we have
But we keep talking about school though.
Yeah,
right.
It's a big focus.
Yeah, it is, but school's not the only thing.
Yep.
Right. What other things are happening out in the community?
Tailgates.
This is gonna again. I don't want to get into politics or any of that stuff, so just leave that alone. But June is Pride Month. There's Pride parades. There's February is Black History Month. How can you get involved in that?
Yep.
When it's themed out like that, you have an opportunity inside of themes.
Yeah, you do.
Right.
And I think every month's got some type of major thing.
Exactly.
To it, so
I like Donut Day.
exactly, or Pizza Day, or whatever.
I love Pizza Day.
Yeah, exactly.
This is why the camera's in wide mode, a wide angle lens.
Got to back it up, right?
That's right.
But anyway, yeah. So wanted to bring that attention to everybody on this episode. I think it's important. I am curious though, what we hear it from time to time, like we mentioned, like the water balls and stuff. But what's working for you guys? What's something that was just like, this is fantastic? I'd love to hear from that. Honestly,
Right.
We've been getting more feedback recently, which is cool. We even had people reach out. We've now appeared in some private Slack communities, which is kind of cool.
What's up, private Slack people?
Yeah, exactly. Please let me in. I'm still waiting on the application, but it is what it is.
It's the green approve button.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, I just
Smash that approve button.
exactly. Well, and also too, speaking of that, we've now approached about 100 subscribers and so forth on Apple Podcasts.
Let's
and stuff.
go.
So like you guys are like digging into it, which is pretty neat. Our subscriber list is just growing as a whole, which is cool.
And I'll even mention on that, the people who subscribe, I know on YouTube is about 8% of the people who view it.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know that holds true for Apple Podcast or
I don't know.
or all of that, but it would mean the world to Michael and I if you guys would actually subscribe if you're consuming us regularly. That bumps us up in the algorithm, and I think we're number 2 on the medical podcast right now.
We are, which is kind of crazy. That medical marketing podcast, we are like basically number 2 right now, which is cool to see. But at the end of that, the pitch I've always heard that seems to get you guys to subscribe is if you find this content helpful, please subscribe.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, our goal is to help you. If you find this content pointless, don't expect you to subscribe. But let us know. We want to know what future episodes should sound like. So.
Absolutely. All right, going back to changing up your messaging. It's not just for back to school season. The whole point of this conversation was to say, yes, people are out of summer mode going into school mode all of a sudden, and you'll be able to ride that wave. Timing is everything. You'll be able to ride that wave for about 3 weeks. Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
That's the important thing that I wanted to say on the back end of that is it's not like you're changing your messages for the rest of the year. You have about a week before something happens, and then you have about 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, depending on what the event is, to ride the wave of that.
Yep.
And then you need to think about what your next messaging is going to be.
Yeah.
right?
So honestly, if you're
Football. I love
listening to this episode right now, it's maybe too late, or maybe on the edge of too late.
Right.
And we know
You may be coming off the end of that wave.
Yeah, right. And so it is true because when we've now been in this game long enough with the urgent care side that we know where seasonalities are coming from. Like we were kicking off COVID campaigns almost a month ago.
Right.
And 2 weeks ago, it started hitting hard.
Right.
So we knew, we saw it coming and we knew what to do. So that is that reminder, when it comes to marketing, quick reaction marketing rarely works.
Well, so again, I keep going back to politics, and I don't mean to, but the whole point is for me to help you grow your urgent care.
Yeah.
Right. So going into an election season with the particular one that we have now, if you're not running immigration ads,
Oh yeah.
you are leaving so much money on the table because you have one side of the coin that wants to open things up for more people. You have the other one that wants to close off the border. Yep. So that automatically leads to the possibility of it being closed, which means an influx of new people that are coming into the country that need immigration physicals. Yeah. So I want to encourage you, like, you should have immigration physicals as part of your marketing strategy.
And don't think you have to be on the coast to make that happen.
No.
No,
not at all.
I think there's some misconceptions. If I'm not on the East Coast or West Coast, I'm not going to get a lot.
Or on the border.
Basically on a border of some sort. I'm not going to get the immigration physicals that I think I would get. We have a guy that does immigration physicals. He's in the middle of the country, basically, and
killing it.
It works. And it's interesting too because
is that our Colorado?
Yeah, out there. So it's fascinating because immigration travels.
Yes.
They are happy to travel more than 10 minutes to get it done because if it's available, because it's urgency, because if they're having to get this, they're on a time slot and they need to get it done. Right. And if you can say, hey, we can do it, just come on over, and they'll drive an hour or 2 hours to go do it to get it done, they're so happy to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, just don't let that discourage you. I don't know how we got off. I guess.
I wanted to bring in like seasonality, and that you have a weird political seasonality, and I wanted to bring that up because that window will close in November.
Yeah, or change or whatever.
It'll change. It could it'll either open up or it'll close. It's going to be one of those things, especially in January whenever decisions are made.
Well, I even have an immigration attorney, and there are deadlines throughout the year that he has to work with, and so we'll see spikes and ups and downs and all the other stuff. So
So I want to encourage you, like, when it comes to seasonality, think outside of just like fall, winter, spring. Think of political seasons. Think of seasons in like I said, Black History Month and all these different things. There's seasons that are predictable, and there's seasons that come every 4 years, and there's once in a lifetime seasons like COVID, right? So seasonality is a real thing, and you have to understand that you'll always have an urgent care ad set running. But what is your second, third, and fourth ad set?
Yeah, I mean, like on our Nick DeMarker side, when we deal with home services, we have storms ad sets that
on
we run.
Standby.
Yeah, and that's the mindset, right? Like for those who do a lot of marketing right now or pretty deep into it, you need these on standby type campaigns ready to go because it just makes life a lot easier. Because ultimately, what we find from seasonality things like the school starting this year versus school starting last year, there are some minor changes that need to be made. One from a pure start time, like when does it actually need to start? And also the messaging needs some adjustments, but the core piece of it is there.
For sure.
I mean, it really is. And then think about your offer, because at the end of the day, running an ad, and there's sometimes you need an offer to make it push a little bit further, especially if it's a secondary service, not so much like your core, like urgent care service where people are sick. Because I didn't think about the Callahan Eye again. To me, it's an amazing thought.
I love it so much.
I hope they do it next year, and I hope they up the game just a little bit. I now want to reach out to them and say, can you come on the podcast and tell us how you came up with this idea?
I mean, I would not only that, like I want to buy them from Sticker Mule a bunch of QR codes to put on everybody's thing,
That's so. But at the end of the day, like I think the missing piece of that puzzle was a coupon built into that sticker where scan here for 10% off your next set of glasses,
right?
Or whatever, right? Whatever made sense. And that could be as simple with you guys on the urgent care site. Hey, here's a coupon for your next sports physical for the next set of, because sports is a year-round thing, and it depends on what sport they're playing it when they need it. Hey, here's a $10 off coupon, or here's if you have one child, the second child's free, or whatever. Because at the end of the day, you're having to sell the parent, and if the parent says, "Oh, this is easier and it's more affordable," I'm probably going to go with it. Because we're still in that crunch time of where inflation's been a mess, and we're looking for ways to save $1.
Right.
So there's just.
Well, I think my favorite part of that was they leveraged the kid to get to me, right?
Legally.
I'm serious though. Like that's what you have to think about is I'm trying to reach this person here.
Yeah.
What are they doing? What do they look like? Where do they hang out? What are they sitting? When are they sitting in their car? What are they doing when they're there? Like, you have to ask lots of questions about the
avatar.
target.
The avatar
Exactly.
question.
And sometimes it's on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like, most of the time it's on Google for an urgent care.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's on Google.
Yeah, we recognize that.
But I like, even though we're the delivery side, like, we execute on the advertising piece of things for our clients.
Yeah.
Brand is huge.
Yep.
Brand is huge. And they may not need you today, but they will need you eventually. And they're not going to remember you if you didn't get in front of them. I had this one that you've heard me tell this story, but maybe not on this podcast. There was this guy that I was in a networking group, and he was with a mortgage company, and Rocket Mortgage was huge then.
Still huge, but
it is. But like,
I remember Rocket Mortgage was like double down. Like,
I mean, they were just, you could not do anything without seeing Rocket Mortgage.
Yeah.
Right. Television, radio, print, email, everything.
and they had you convinced you didn't need a local mortgage.
That's it.
Because I can go on my phone. Like, that was, I remember them showing like the phone and say,
have a rate in seconds.
yeah, instant rate.
Yeah.
And which wasn't true, but it was.
This would have been around 2016, 2015, something like
I
that.
remember because I had done a website for a local mortgage company, and they're like, "We want to be like Rocket Mortgage." I'm like, well, good luck.
Well, so the guy, like, we were talking, not me and him, but just in the group, and he stood up, and I was in marketing and advertising at the time. I was in radio. And I'll never forget him standing up, and he was just throwing Rocket Mortgage under the bus. You shouldn't do business with them. And I finally, after several meetings of hearing him say this, I remember saying, "Do you know, Mike, why they're beating the pants off of you? Because they're spending money on advertising and you're not."
Yeah.
Period.
Yep.
You don't. We shot a video on this. I shot an all-day video on this yesterday about how Google and Facebook have leveled the playing field with the quality score. You don't have to have the biggest budget. You just have to have a budget, and you have to put that budget to work. So anyway, that's what I have to say.
And I would say, especially in the urgent care space, you only need a 5 mile budget, right?
Yeah.
5 to 10 miles max, 10, depending, unless you're just in a rural area.
Right.
But that's all you need. So a lot of you out there like, oh, how do I compete with these national franchises or whatever? By the way, if there's an episode on this, Walmart Health is gone. So like, there's a thing where big national franchises have a struggle when it comes to urgent care space.
Right.
But at the end of the day, the big companies may have millions of dollars that are pouring in, but guess what? They're blanketing an entire country with that millions of dollars, and they're not localizing those dollars every single time. So it's not that challenging because, so like, we benchmark ourselves, right? So the benchmarking in our world, like just a simple benchmark on the Google Ads side, is $40 is a conversion benchmark for urgent cares. Like, that's how much a conversion nationally is going to cost you.
Nationally.
Okay. Right. Like, that's the national average. Our average is under $20. We're really closer to 10 now.
I was going to say, most cases we're 10 or under.
We start with our initial goal is 20, then our next goal is 10.
Here's how it works. When we first take on an account that's already existing for an urgent care, they're up in the 40s to 50s to 60s.
Yeah, it's oddly pricey.
Our first goal is to get to 25 and under.
Yep.
And then our next goal is to hit the $10 benchmark.
And then we float around below 10, like we dance around there.
We are, but as long as we're 10 or under, I'm happy, and the client's happy, and everything else.
Don't know where we got off of that subject, but it just came to my mind. Like, there's so much important talking about advertising. Like, you do have to spend money to make money. Like, that doesn't seem to change in this world. It's very rare. Like, I can make things go viral. Yeah, no, you can't. It's just the luck of the draw. Oh, and the other side is viral only lasts you about a week. And then nobody cares anymore, or the value of it's just kind of dissipated at that point.
We could do a whole, and we should do a whole thing on viral, how it works. You can't really choose it; it either happens or it doesn't. But that longevity, like, it is gasoline on a big fire, and just like any gasoline on a fire, it's a mushroom cloud that goes, and then it's done, it's gone.
Well, and I think a great example of this,
and then you're like, I can't believe I did that. My eyebrows are gone.
Yeah, exactly. Why does it still hurt?
Yeah.
There was so in the world, in the medical world, we know Dr. Glaucoma Flecken.
He's so funny.
Is a pretty big name. We didn't know his name was until this past UCA event we went to, and he's pretty funny. But he hits home, right? Like, he can talk the language of the medical field, but be really funny about it. Anyway, he did, I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's a little off, but he did a TikTok video on the pole vaulter that knocked off the pole with part of his body. But the way he did it was real funny from like a urologist standpoint. And it was just funny. 40 seconds maybe. He had 10 million likes. 10 million likes in like a day.
That's a lot.
In a day, which is insane. And then, but you go look at his next video, like nothing compared.
Yeah, it's a mushroom cloud, and then it's gone.
Yeah, it's just gone like that. But he has great stuff. But like I'm sure he's like, that was amazing, and then it goes right back down because that's based on the Olympics. So you hook into the Olympics, and like Olympics is a big thing for sure. But I will say the ads that we've been seeing locally are just like, I've had enough of these 3 ads.
Yeah, well, that's another story altogether. Well, here's the deal: the takeaway: take action. Right. So understand the season that you're in or the season that you're going into. Prepare for it, run ads to it, and be prepared to swap again for the next season. That's the biggest takeaway.
Yep.
You're in the back to school season right now. You got about 3 weeks to ride that wave, and then you need to start thinking about game day.
Yep.
And then you need to start thinking about October and Thanksgiving and Christmas. All right. Winter.
Content calendars matter.
Yeah, they are. If you ever need one, by the way, we have one that you can use that's for urgent cares. Just reach out to us. Hello@patientcaremarketingpros.com. Until then, have a great week. We'll see you next Wednesday.
See you time.